Hello,
Hey,
welcome to our episode. This is Thompson's Talk Movies. We are people named Thompson talking about movies which we love and maybe we don't love every
yeah,
once in a while.
every once in a while, yeah. There
Um,
was that
Rarely
one
say.
my name's
back in
Andy,
'78. I didn't like that one, but I'm Todd.
I'm Gabe.
and today we're talking about a couple different things. We're talking about The Mandalorian. And probably other Star Wars stuff because we always talk about other Star Wars stuff when we talk about The Mandalorian. And then I'm going to be talking about the movie Monster Hunter, which came out just about 3 months ago in December.
And I'm going to be talking about the movie News of the World, which is in theaters right now.
And I'm going to be talking about the show on Netflix called Great Pretender. It's a pretty good show.
Nice.
First, we will talk about The Mandalorian, the Star Wars TV show that's on Disney Plus
Newest
right
TV
now.
show, yeah.
Right? I guess I can't. I mean, it's
Two
it's never
seasons.
on a television, so
Yeah.
it's hard to call it a TV show, but it's
Oh,
a
you're
streaming
true.
show, and it'll probably
It's a
be
show.
up for
It's a show.
Emmys.
It's
Like
a show.
The
show.
mini series.
Well, yeah.
Two seasons, eight episodes each. Yeah.
Are they coming up with a third season?
Undecided.
That's what they've said. But
Oh, okay.
essentially, the story is it's a Star Wars story, so there's a lot of Star Wars stuff in it. But the Mandalorian is a group of people that Boba Fett resembles.
Boba
don't
Fett,
don't try to. Oh yeah, sorry.
Boba Fett, Jango Fett,
Right.
like all those
It's sort
those
of
are Mandalorians.
It's like a religion,
It's like a religion, and like a species.
a species too,
Because like we're humans,
Right.
right? That's a species.
right?
And Mandalorians are species.
They're not human.
They're not human. They're
Okay.
not technically human. Just like
Well, I mean, yeah, I,
I mean,
understand.
yeah,
I understand. So the
sound pretty
story is right. Yeah, the story is that one of these guys, they're sort of disbanded and they're kind of
Okay.
sort of loners.
yeah, and like to give it to you, like the Empire, like this also is set 5 years after the Empire fell, like after like the events of like Luke Skywalker, and all those gang,
This happens between 6
Yeah.
and 7.
and the Empire like destroyed Mandalore, which is the Mandalorians where they lived. So there's like a select few left, or a handful left compared to the giant planet of Mandalore. So that's an important thing. So there's only like a few. Like once when like
you meet like 6 or 7 of them.
yeah, and
in
like
the show.
when you're watching the show, or like you see like the characters like, oh, a Mandalorian. Like those are rare to see.
Right. Yeah.
Where they used to not be rare.
So now that you never really actually, they always have the helmet on, right? So you don't really
Right.
actually see them to see if they look like they're human or they're
Yeah.
anything else.
And if you watch another series called The Clone Wars, which is an animated one, most Mandalorians they take their helmet off with nothing, because that's also when Mandalore still like happened or was still existing. I mean, the planet. I mean, it
Oh, I
still
see.
exists, but
There's
got
nobody on
completely
it anymore.
genocided. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in this you see the main character a couple times. He does take his helmet off a couple times.
Okay.
Probably like 3 times total.
I think it's yeah.
Maybe
Like the last time is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's sort of a cool storyline to the last time he does it. But yeah, in the show he's essentially a gun for hire. He's an assassin at first, or bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And he's got this kind of this base sort of on this one planet that he kind of goes back to, and he has a buddy there.
I can't remember what
I
planet
can't
it's
remember.
called.
Yeah, I can't remember the planet either. But the guy, he's there and he helps him with
Getting
getting new
missions.
jobs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and essentially the first episode happens where he needs to find the child.
Which is
Which
he doesn't know
is-
what it is at first.
It's a I mean, it's not Baby Yoda, but it's Baby Yoda.
The same species.
Same species, but very much younger. Only the second of this species we've ever seen in Star Wars, I
Third.
think. Third, okay. my
Because
bad.
there's another one in the Jedi Council.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the real Star Wars guy here. Okay.
Or with
Uh,
before Empire stuff, I
right,
guess.
right. And then this little kid is pretty damn cute. they sort of befriend each other, and essentially the kid saves his life like twice or three times before.
And the kid is force sensitive.
Right. So he's got the midichlorians scooting through his body, and they talk about that. They don't say the word, but they talk about his saturation or something like that.
It's a high level.
The high level of saturation of midichlorians.
And then the last thing is that there's like this group, kind of like the post-Empire, kind of like chasing after them, and like it's just like all like it's just like chasing after him for like 2 seasons, kind of, and then like some mishaps happen where like he loses it, or he gets it back or whatever, and it's like, and there's like a lot of stuff in there that probably not a lot of people have seen before. That's why it's cool, because it kind of brings brings the stuff from like the old, like from the Republic age, like to like this new era of like people watching it, like kids and stuff like that. Like, because like I know like a lot of the stuff, like like the main weapon in it, like from the older
and like in this one I liked it a lot because there wasn't a lot of like, I think in the 7, 8, and 9 episodes, and in Han Solo, kind of the solo story, there was a lot of like, hey, remember this is Star Wars. Remember the Millennium Falcon. Remember the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
remember the Millennium Falcon. You remember the Millennium Falcon. You remember the Millennium Falcon. It was the best ship in the whole wide galaxy.
And this,
and then it's here. It's like in this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Like, and in this
way
one,
more subtle.
There's very not even close to any of that
and
stuff.
And the thing is though,
it's kind of nice. Yeah.
And the stuff that they put back in is like very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't even talk about like, or trying to think of like, and basically they're like trying to like get like this guy or like the kid for a sample blood, and they're like trying to use his blood in like weird ways to do it, and they never like go the reason why. It kind of leaves like a good amount of lore. I think we all know in the back of our heads what it's for.
Are there any Jedis in the Mandalorian series?
I mean, one,
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, I can't really tell though.
Okay,
It's sort of spoiling stuff.
Kind of a spoiler. Okay.
Kind of a spoiler.
Okay.
But
there's
a couple. Sorry, there's a couple.
There
I'm
are
sorry.
a couple.
It's
Yeah.
a parallel storyline.
There's a couple. There's a couple characters that are Jedi, and a couple episodes. Like one of them.
Like a couple. Like
what's her name
again?
again?
And you Ahsoka.
Okay.
A couple like Jedis like live. Like you also get to see like, oh, these people are actually like nobody. If you just watch the movies and like like you're still a hardcore fan about the movies, you don't know like all this stuff. Like they give like a lot of callbacks to stuff, but it's all stuff that like probably a select few like Star Wars fans know, or, like Star Wars people that have watched the movies, because like they're from the Clone Wars and they're from like the animated TV show. Like the main weapon, the Mandalorians, is all about those. Like a lot of that is about that. Like the whole last season of it is just about Mandalore, basically.
Okay.
So it gives a lot of.
I haven't watched that show. Maybe I should watch the rest.
At least watch the last season, because it gives a lot of stuff about Ahsoka and all that stuff.
This is the Clone Wars series?
The cartoon,
Yeah.
I have not seen.
The first 3 seasons are not like so good. They're just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of give like a little bit of story, but it's not really like the last like 4 seasons though are all about like really story driven, giving you like a lot of plot for like in between 2 and 3.
Right.
Which is like a lot of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Which people will never know about.
The animation on that one gets to me sometimes, unfortunately.
You just don't like animation, though, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's just a little different. The animation, maybe a little more CGI-ish or something.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's not like it's not so bad.
No, it's not bad. Not bad.
And in the Mandalorian, the episodes had a very I guess it was created by Jon Favreau, who also has directed numerous Marvel Studio movies, and was in movies like Swingers and all that sort of crazy junk back in the 90s with Vince Vaughn, if you remember that stuff. Before he was director, I mean, he's always been a director, kind of, but before he was only a director, he acted some of it too. But then, like, other directors in these episodes, like Bryce Dallas Howard, if you know who she is. She's the lady in the new Jurassic Park movies.
Oh,
the
yeah,
redhead.
yeah.
She's daughter to Ron Howard. Gives you some idea. And then Taika Waititi, another one, director of Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit, which we went over in the 3rd episode or something like that. A long time ago. And then, of course, I'm not going to remember anybody else.
When we say Marvel now, it's just Disney, right?
I mean, but it's still Marvel, though.
Well, yeah, is Star Wars just Disney, too? Like, is everything just Disney? Because it is.
Because then everything would be like, oh, that's Disney, not Star Wars.
No, just be. I find it good that Disney hasn't had an original idea since 1945.
Love Bug. That was 50s.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Herbie.
Herbie? Was that an original Disney creation? It didn't like rip off any like Shakespeare play
weird
or anything
German
like that, like all that other crap.
tale?
Well, there's some
right,
hint.
exactly.
There's some
There's
hint
a Volkswagen.
There's some hint of a Volkswagen in Shakespeare, but it's very subtle. It's very underplayed. But yeah,
the part of the horse will be played by Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, with the Mandalorian, it's like I think everyone that actually watches it. Like really likes
or
it.
will watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching it.
No, that's just a lie. That's just a lie.
It's a lie.
It's just a lie. Like I think everyone else that I've like met who's watched it, all of them have liked it like a lot.
Yeah.
And that's like kids my age and like also younger kids and also his age as well.
My age too. They
And
all
his
like
age,
it.
Yeah, all my friends that have kids, which is all my friends, all love it with, they watched it with their children and they're like, oh my God, I love it so much and stuff like that.
And
and the kids
that's
love
what
it
Baby
too, so.
Yoda does.
And Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda just pulls.
Yeah, look
He
up
pulls all
Baby
the
Yoda
audience.
memes online just for a couple minutes.
Or
We'll
just
give you a
Baby Yoda.
second. Pause the video, go online, look up Baby Yoda memes,
Just
and then
look
come
at
back.
Baby Yoda, and you'll be like, okay, well, we gotta watch it now.
Yeah, right. And like his Lego piece is like that big.
It's
It's
so small.
super damn cute. He can
I-
only turn his head. He can't move his arms, and he's just got like a little skirt. He doesn't have any legs. He can just move his head, but he's like this big. Or well, no, like a Lego guy's like that big. He's like
In comparison, yeah, like a good
he's like
size.
like a third to a half the size of,
Oh my
of a
gosh.
Lego guy. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool part of it too. So, but yeah, and then one more thing I wanted to say about that show, like it's very, like formulaic in a way, like a lot of the episodes is the Mandalorian
Needs
going to
something.
this knows where to find something, goes to that place, that person has it. They're like, oh dang, I've got this, but you need to help us with this first.
But you need to sacrifice
and
your
then
life
like, okay,
basically to
fine,
do it.
yeah, pretty much.
Or it's like a simple mission, like just like pick up this thing, and then he
Like-
gets into like these situations where he's just like killing multiple stormtroopers.
It's kind of brutal in a couple of parts too.
Yeah.
And like he there's one part where he joins up with these like criminals essentially that he's worked for in the past, and they basically just betray him. It's pretty much almost immediately. And they actually all those characters, well, not all of them, but a couple of them come back at the end and they're buddies with them and stuff like that. So that's kind of bizarre. But it's a very like formulaic, like it's a television show. This is a television show. This isn't like a movie breaked up into
episode-
8 parts.
each
This is a
episode wraps up.
television show.
It is a TV show.
Wraps up at the end.
Except
and
for like
like,
maybe
he's
like 2 episodes.
He's like, well, he wraps up and he figures it out, and he's like, oh, okay, well, now I need to go here. And then he sets out for that spot at the end of the episode. And then at the beginning of the episode, he gets there. The people say, oh, you are so much more powerful and good than anybody else in this place. Yeah. We will give you this thing, whatever it is, information or an artifact of some sort. But can you help us kill the bad guys?
Also, yeah, he also has like impenetrable armor.
And it's like, yeah,
So,
that's
you
right.
know,
he's like laser proof.
And Mandalorians are trained to like be like really well or very good fighters, and they're trained, you know, just like that, like really well. And then he also has just like armor that basically makes him.
But he's sort of
He's
even lightsabers.
He's kind of like
lightsabers.
He's like Batman, not Superman, right? I mean, he
He's
doesn't
Batman.
he doesn't really have special powers. He's just a
He's Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He's
he
Batman.
doesn't have like the Force. He's Batman. He's Batman, but like also like on another level, I would say. I mean, like, I don't know though.
Well, he's the Star Wars version of
How
Batman.
many?
Yeah.
How many? Yeah, how many
He's got a
stormtroopers
cape,
could Batman
he's got a
kill?
mask.
Gray.
He's gray. Yeah, he's got a
Black.
lot of black and gray on him and stuff like that.
At least that was
doesn't,
the analogy I could
he's
come
got
up
a-
with in the
Oh, he's got a
comics.
jetpack. He's got a jetpack. He doesn't have like a grappling hook thing. That's
Okay.
sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, no, it's the
Kind of the same
Disney Batman.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The
So you
Disney
guys
Batman.
recommend it, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
Though
Yep. One thumb up. One
Yeah.
finger up.
you
Yeah.
can't do
I-
it. You can't say anything.
Considering what, I mean, I almost honestly think that Disney Plus is probably the most worthwhile streaming service there is now.
I don't know. I still say Disney. I mean, sorry, Netflix.
Right.
Just because they are right now, they have a head start with like releasing more content. Like I am. There was a point in time, like probably like a month ago, where I was watching 7 shows on Netflix at the same time.
Oh, really?
All you have to do, and like 2 times, I was just like, I don't know what to watch, and I just like, there's like this new thing where you just say play something, and then it just plays you something that's
Seriously?
recommended for you.
In Netflix?
Yeah, that's like usually recommended for you, and I was like,
Dang, I need that for like
And
my
one-
life.
and I tried that out like
Something.
5 times. Tried that out like 5
Right.
times, and 2 of them, you know, I watched all the way through.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. I've been a little bit reluctant on Disney Plus. I mean, it has all of that. It has a lot of content, you know, because it's got Marvel,
Star
it's got
Wars.
Star Wars.
I'm
It's got
still going through all the
Disney
Star Wars
stuff
content.
already, you know, and all that. But
Simpsons.
there's a certain flavor that even though a lot of that stuff is purchased and they didn't produce it. It's got Simpsons, right? It's got Fox, and so even though it's purchased, it has so anyway, I would vote for Netflix, but I guess I would say Disney Plus would
Yeah,
be
I
second
like-
place for
Yeah,
me.
I like Disney.
But I could see why you would rank it ahead of that because
Well, I still rank Netflix over, but with Disney, I'm like still going through Star Wars content, and I've been trying to, and we've had it for like 6 months now or something like that. It's just like so much to get through everything.
Yeah.
Like there's like 3 different animated TV shows now. There's The Mandalorian or 2.
And WandaVision.
Now there's WandaVision. I haven't watched that yet.
5th episode comes out on Friday.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I was
pretty crazy. I've watched that. I've watched the
I'm
first
not
2.
completely up to date on that. I'm missing one.
Yeah, that's
But
a
that one's
Marvel
fun.
thing.
That's
right?
a Marvel
Yeah.
thing.
Is that on Disney too?
Yeah,
It
it's
is,
on Disney
yeah,
Plus.
Disney Plus. I mean, that's exclusively
Well,
Disney Plus, just like The Mandalorian, exclusively Disney.
Well,
Plus.
not wanting to transist out of Disney, but
man.
but they Andy did mention Jon Favreau, the creator of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Not The Mandalorian, as I mispronounced it earlier, but Jon Favreau. I just watched a movie on Netflix that I'd seen before, but I thought I'd give it a brief mention called Chef, and it's an excellent movie.
Right.
And I don't know if you're into food movies, but if you are, you're going to want to see Chef.
I did not see that one, and I really, really, really wanted to.
It's actually directed, written, and starring Jon Favreau.
right.
Anyway, so it's I just happened to watch that one. But the movie that I'd like to talk about today is called News of the World. That's in theaters right now, starring Tom Hanks and a newcomer. And I got to look at her name.
H.
What's that? Helena Zengel, who is probably plays a 10-year-old girl, and I bet she is about 10 years old. Does an amazing job. The brief plot synopsis is Tom Hanks is 5 years after the Civil War, and it all takes place in Texas, and he goes from town to town and reads the news for people. He's basically a storyteller, and he claims to be reading the news, and he does. And then he's got a magnifying glass to read it because he's getting kind of old. And he reads the news and just entertains people, and they pay a dime to see him, and then he goes to the next town. And the story unravels that he kind of had a tragic time in the Civil War. They call him captain. He was a captain in the Confederate Army, and he had he lost his wife and all that kind of stuff. And so he's just travels around kind of like a nomad. And in his travels, he runs across this young girl who was being transported, and it turns out that the young girl had been kidnapped by Native Americans or Indians, and raised by them. And so she spoke the Kiowa, I think was the name of the tribe, language, and then a little bit of German because her family had been German, and so they don't. Throughout the movie, Tom Hanks teaches her.
English.
Yeah, teaches her English, and she kind of teaches him Kiowa. That's how you say it. And so anyway, so he finds her, and he tries to get someone to get her to back, because what had happened was her Kiowa family had been killed, and that's the only family she knows. And so they were trying to transport her to her aunt, who was down in another part of Texas, like 400 miles away. And so the cavalry wouldn't do it. And it's interesting politics, because the Blues, as they call them, are the Union Army, and they're kind of hated in Texas. And it's kind of hated, really hated. Yep. And so it was interesting it's a time in history that we don't really think about too much or study very much, the Reconstruction after the Civil War. And it was really interesting to see how the dynamics of that. And Hanks, of course, plays a good character who's trying to, bring people together, not divide them. But there's a lot of, he runs into some, it's like an odyssey, he's got to make this, he decides to take the girl himself. He goes through, and then he runs into one crazy ass situation after another.
A lot like The Mandalorian.
It's a little bit like The Mandalorian. Well, this is a movie. And so...
Interesting.
Yeah, he gets out of, there's some bandits.
Maybe you would like The Mandalorian.
Maybe, I might, yeah. And so I guess what's so good is the performance of the little girl, Helena. She plays, first a little girl that can't speak English, and she plays just awesome job. It's like Dakota Fanning or something like that.
I'm baffled at the ability of child actors these days.
Yeah.
Like, completely baffled.
Yeah,
like, it just makes a movie. When you have a good kid actor, and you need a good kid actor, and you've got one, it just makes the movie.
Yeah, and also, like we were talking about before, Jojo Rabbit is
right, exactly.
Like, even the supporting kid actors were still good.
Incredible.
And even the supporting kid actor, like the one,
his buddy, his little chubby buddy or whatever,
goofy.
and I mean, and like Stranger Things too. Sorry, not to go off on a tangent, but
it's totally true. I just
Stranger
watched one
Things
called Miracle
on
34th Street on one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Sure.
And the little girl who plays that, the one from the 90s, the girl that plays in the earlier one too, and from the 40s is good too, but the one from the 90s, gosh, she is so good. And Home Alone, or what was the one with Bill with Willis, Bill. Was that the same actor?
Home Alone didn't really.
M. Night Shyamalan's first movie.
Oh no, Haley Joel Osment.
That guy that's different than the Home Alone guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's so good in that one. Anyway,
oh wait, the kid, the Sixth Sense kid.
Yeah, that's Haley Joel Osment.
Okay,
yeah. That those they just and this is another example. Now Hanks, of course, is really good, but without that girl being able to pull off that part, and she's just so much fun to watch, her face and when she smiles, because she's very plain when he picks her up and uncommunicative.
They breed them in a lab or something like that, and just like wait till they're 10. Here's your movie. Like, here's your child.
Being a teacher, I'm not surprised by that. Really, in fact, I've directed a lot of kids in plays, and there really isn't now. This is an amateur level now, but there's not really a lot of difference between kids and adults in ability to act.
Sure,
it's just that you got to find somebody who can do it.
Right.
In other words, they're plenty smart. They learn their lines faster than the adults do, and they amazingly how they understand. You're mad here, and they get it.
Right.
It's kind of funny. I think acting is
like
a little bit second nature.
I think it's also like a different style.
If you understand, but that's the part that's hard to. In this case, this girl is so, I don't know, professional or whatever. I don't know if they had to do it a million takes, but I'm guessing not. You know,
she's just probably just like trained really well to do it.
And this movie was directed by Paul Greengrass, who directed the Bourne trilogy.
Oh,
Greengrass.
I never heard of him before, but
that's a funny name.
Yeah. He's at his directing
and he's
credits are pretty giant. All three of the Bourne movies: United 93, Green Zone, Captain Phillips, another one.
Tom Hanks movie too.
Yeah. So anyway, That's
93 Green Zone, Captain Phillips. Jesus.
yeah, Paul Greengrass.
I've never heard
Anyway,
of that
and
guy
it's
before.
based on a 2016 novel by Paulette Giles, who I'd not heard of either. But anyway, I'd give it a definite thumbs up, a 1 out of to go see, and it's in the theaters, and it was fun. It was fun to go to the movie. I hadn't been to. I don't think I'd been to a movie since the theaters reopened, which is terrible. But they reopened like after Christmas, I think. So they've been open for about a month here in Northfield, Minnesota, anyway. And so it was always fun to go to the movie, and I hope that we can get back into the theaters again. But that's my movie for this week.
Sweet.
On
What do you
other
got,
news,
Gabe?
real quick, I went to go see Wonder Woman, like 84.
1984. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's not my movie, but I did not like that much. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
Is that it's like a sequel, right? There's a There's a first
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same actress plays the new one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Gal Gadot.
What? Okay.
Yeah, and it's just not like, I don't know, just not a good villain, like, at all. But
Okay.
you need a good villain.
Yeah, you do.
I mean,
Where's
actually,
Gary Oldman when
And
you
actually,
meet him?
Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, plays the villain in this. I think he the thing is I think he plays like a really good villain, but he just didn't have a very good villain role. Like the role, or like the character wasn't that good. But his acting was like still like really good though.
Yeah, it's interesting, villains, that's a certain subset of actors. There's, of course, the most famous one is Gary Oldman, but I think for villains. But there's James Franco plays a good villain.
Kinda, yeah.
And a good guy as
He
well.
plays a
and
good
goof-
stoner too. He's awesome. Let's face it. But
It's like
all
Seth
those-
Rogen,
all those
but only
movies
plays
with-
it good. But only plays it good.
Yeah, exactly. Seth Rogen would not play a good villain.
He'd be like, "Hey guys, hey guys." I can't even do
like
Seth
when
Rogen.
like when Robin Williams played villains too. Like there's a couple of movies where he's the
movies,
bad guy.
yeah, that.
And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on
I
here?
mean, he's such a good actor that he acts it, but
He does well,
but our
I'm
mind is so in
I
that.
can't get over Jumanji or
right.
Robin Hood or I mean Hook.
Hook. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I always think to the old guys like Christopher Lee and
Christopher Walken.
and then Christopher Plummer, who actually just passed away
that's
5 or 6
right. Yeah,
days
he played
ago.
a good.
He plays the
Really good
villain
villain.
in Star Trek 6. He's a bald Klingon. He's got an eye patch that's just bolted to his face.
You know who's
There's
a,
no
long
strap.
way from-
It's just an eye patch, and there's like rivets like on the edge of the eye patch. It's so badass.
you know who's a good villain?
It's
Like
so
one
cool.
of he's a good villain in the way that he's like a villain that's kind of like annoying villain. Like you want to punch him in the face so hard, and he plays really well. General Hawks in Rogue One, like the main villain in Rogue One.
Okay.
He also plays the villain in Ready Player One.
Oh yeah.
And the whole
the
time
short
he-
guy that's like.
Yeah, and the whole
Yeah.
time you just want to punch his
You
face.
kinda
He
wanna
plays
punch his
such a
face.
he does it so well.
Yeah, he's good.
Like even though it's like a terrible you just want to punch him in the face the entire movie.
Yeah.
He plays it so well though. that
Somebody
guy.
who just looks so villainous is Willem Dafoe.
And if you have just
Yeah, and
if you
he's-
just have like a really refined jawline and you have like the indents here, you're just a villain.
Yeah.
You're just like
Maybe there's a
going around
look.
it.
Maybe it's a look. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Willem's got such a great, he's got a jawline, but like his face is so expressive and stuff like
Yeah.
that too.
Usually, like the more masculine, I think the more villainous you look, or at least, or that's what it seems like.
At least, like, yeah.
And like like Luke Skywalker, he's like more rounded.
It's probably
not
not like a
straight
role
jawline.
that most I mean, everybody wants to be the good guy, kind of.
Right.
And
Well, that's
like
probably
just getting cast as the bad guy every time's got to be like, oh my god, how do I die this time? Like that sort of thing.
yeah,
So like, it would be tough. Like, I mean, unless like, but there's like good guys that just play cops. Like every time you play, like every
Exactly.
time he's a cop. Like, so there are those kind of actors too.
Yeah,
and
like-
I'm just like,
Imagine
my
how-
mind is just
imagine-
racing through pictures
Imagine how
and
Dwayne
faces of
feels.
those people. and
Imagine
stuff
how
like that,
Dwayne
so.
the Rock feels. Just playing the same character over and over again.
I don't think he minds it at all. I don't think he minds it one bit.
I think if you go visit him in his home, it's the same guy.
Yeah. Like, that's what
Can you
Central
imagine?
Intelligence
Can you
bought me.
imagine
That's
Will
what
Smith as a bad
Fast
guy?
and Furious
How about
8
that?
bought me.
Will Smith is a bad guy.
Oh, well,
Is he-
I never actually saw it, but Gemini Man.
Oh, he
Apparently,
plays.
there's like a
he plays himself.
Like, he's
yeah.
fighting himself. Like,
Right.
his younger self is like fighting his older self. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So that,
Samuel L. Jackson's been a bad guy a couple times, right?
Samuel Jackson. Oh boy.
I could imagine
He's
him
kind
as
of
a
always the
bad.
bad good guy.
Yeah.
Badass
that's
good
right.
guy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I've.
Did you ever see The Hitman's Bodyguard? Him and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
They're like going through like Brussels or something like that, and like Samuel L. Jackson's character is a witness in a trial trying to put to death Gary Oldman. Oh my God! Look at that. And
Gary
and
Oldman
Gary
is
Oldman
the
is
penultimate
just
bad guy.
he is just brutal, like merciless in this movie. Like
Oh,
like yeah, all those like old parlance of like rated R movies are out the window for this one. There's like, well, I won't get into it because it's kind of brutal, but he does a really good job.
All right, I'll go on to my show now.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
So my show is on Netflix, and I actually got recommended to it by a friend, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can watch it. I wasn't like too excited about it or anything. And it's called Great Pretender, not The Great Pretender, Great Pretender. It's on Netflix, and it is animated, but like it's not like it's like animated more like. And like the first episode is in Japanese.
Ooh.
But then they like go to America, or this like the main character goes to America, and now it's like all in English, and they actually have good English voice actors as well. Like they paid for these good English voice actors, like money, so that's actually good. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh wow. Okay.
98% like the TV show.
Mine did not get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Sorry, keep going.
And Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter as much,
Not
but
much,
the
no.
liked by Google users, 98%.
That's good. That's better. Yeah.
That's really good. And like it's all the art style is really nice. Like the art, like you can tell that it took them a lot of time to put into the effort, like the art. And when you're just like looking at the scenes, like like in between, like them talking or whatever, it's so beautiful. It is really nice.
Wow.
And so it's basically about this like scandaler con artist who's from Japan. He's like Japan's greatest con artist, right? And then he like gets roped into America, and then he just like there's episodes and cases. So like there might be like five episodes for one case, and that's like basically like the part. Like their cases are like 1 part, 2 part of
Sure.
like the season, 3 part, and they're 20-minute episodes, and they're just like the first 2 episodes I was like, okay, and it's okay. But like once you get to like the first case and then like the last episode, when you're watching it, especially like the ending, you're just like, holy crap, I understand why this is so liked now. Like, and nobody knows about this show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody knows about this show. And it's 2 seasons, and it's been out since like 2019.
How many episodes in a season?
The first one has 14, and the next one has 9. So it's a really small series. But they still are like, they're still undecided making a 3rd season. And I think it's just, honestly, if everybody watched it, I think they would easily be able to make like another like couple seasons just off of that.
Is it
because
Netflix original? Or?
it is a Netflix original as well.
Sweet. Sure.
So it has like a lot of things going for it. 100% Rotten Tomatoes, like really good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It has, a Netflix original, really good art style, and good voice actors.
That's good.
And a really good and just if you just watch the first 5 episodes, I think you'll even be satisfied. It's
Sweet. I'm gonna check
it's,
that out.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think you should Definitely. It's like
I'm a fan
it's
of anime.
probably like the best anime that I've watched, and that's like it's a really short anime.
Sure.
Better than Avatar?
Avatar's not technically an anime, but it's made by or made by some anime artists.
Better than actual animation?
Animation is like the art style, and animation's better
Oh.
than Avatar: Last Airbender.
Avatar, yeah, Airbender has. I mean, it's not as much about the animation. Like, there's some Japanese anime that's just
Yeah.
like, there's no real story. It's just
Yeah.
like, dang,
And also
they animated that. That's people drawing that.
and also like the
was
animation
fun.
of it, it's not like crazy like animation like anime stuff where like like they have this just crazy scene that you're looking at. Like some animes are just like, what is going on here?
There's a bird. There's a tiny little bird on that tiny little tree, 85 miles away.
Yeah, and then there's like some scenes where there's just like 3 giants just like walking around. It's just it's like so unpredictable. But this one's like more like a lot more American friendly
Sure.
and a lot more like yeah. So, but it's still really good though. So the first half of the episodes are Japanese, and you can't like really get out of that. And they'll give you Japanese subtitles, but then it goes into English, and it's like pretty good.
Awesome.
Good. So you're recommending it, obviously.
It is the best anime I've ever watched, and I've watched like a couple. And it's better than a lot of TV shows that I've watched. Just the first 5 episodes are better than a good amount of TV shows I've watched.
What do you got, Andy?
All right, I went to a movie in the theater as well, and it not exactly the same thing as News of the World, but mine was called Monster Hunter, starring Mila Jovovich.
Oh my!
I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Of Fifth Element fame and Resident Evil fame, Tony Jaa, who's a Korean actor. He's got a lot of great martial arts stuff back from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. And Bryce is a giant fan of Tony Jaa. And Ron the Pearled Man, as I call him now, Ron Perlman, who's
The ex-Hulk.
just really.
He played the Hulk in the original Hulk, isn't that Ron Perlman?
No, no, what's his name? I don't remember.
Oh, not him.
That might be right though. I'm not sure. But yeah, Ron Perlman is in it, and he's so crazy in it.
Uh-huh.
So this first of all, this is a movie based on a video game. Not usually the best way to make a movie. Most of the movies based on video games have been pretty bad.
And the actors are pretty bad usually.
And the actors are pretty bad, like Mario Brothers. Personally, I am a giant fan of that movie because I grew up with that movie.
Or like any of the Halo movies.
Or any of the... there are Halo movies? Oh, dear.
They're
oh, dear, that's
They're
good.
bad. They're bad. When I first watched them when I was 8, I was like, yes! But
Right.
now that I've like watched them like probably like even like 4 years ago, I was like, oh, this is just terrible.
Yeah, video game straight to movie is never a good connection to make.
Because they never make a good story. It's just like, and the acting is terrible.
The acting's usually bad.
And you're like, wait, why am I watching this?
Yeah. So Mario Brothers, Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper. I mean, I'm not sure why I'm talking about that movie so much.
Dennis Hopper is.
But he played Bowser. I really, really kind of actually like that movie, but a lot of folks don't like it. But anyway, Mortal Kombat as well. That's another one that Mortal Kombat 1 was pretty fun, but I mean, it's a video game. It's a movie based on a video game.
It's not good,
So,
especially like a game like that.
Not the best.
It's like that's like about like fighting and stuff like that, and
Right.
like it's like wait, hold on.
I'd probably say that the best video game to movie franchise is Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And those movies are all directed by the guy that directed Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay.
And stars the person that stars in Monster Hunter. So there's a connection there. So so there's a little bit of you did this first.
Okay, they kind of know what they're doing.
I never really
kinda know
watched
what
the
they're doing.
Resident Evil movies, but there's 6 of them, so apparently they're doing something right?
Yeah, no, I've watched one.
I haven't been able to watch them.
They're-
I've tried a couple.
They got goofy
They're okay.
quick. They got goofy quick. This one is same idea. Goofy. Mila is like the sergeant of this troop. Very small group of folks, like 6 or 7 like army guys in like the Middle East somewhere, desert area.
Okay.
They're in a Humvee. They're driving. They see this weird like sandstorm with like lightning coming towards them, and they're like, "Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't happen." And then they sort of see like it's essentially like a gateway to another dimension, and they see this like they get the sandstorm a bit, and then it's like in a clearing or something like that, and they see like landscape that wasn't there before, and they're looking into the other dimension, and essentially, do not get attached to characters in this movie too. Yeah. Most of them are just fodder.
I'm pretty much.
I don't think you would get attached to characters.
Mila, Tony Jaa, Ron Perlman. Those are the only people you really should worry about in this movie.
Okay. Also, a mention in Great Pretender, it's pretty like the last episode's pretty gory, but then you realize, hey, that's actually not that gory.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and this Monster Hunter movie is rated PG-13 too.
Is that right?
So there's not too much craziness going on. The whole troop gets transferred to the other dimension. They don't know what's going on, and then eventually a big giant monster comes after them. When they see the skeleton first, so they see the giant ribs that are coming out. They turn a corner and come by like a big dune or something like that. And this
they go into the other dimension with a Humvee?
Yeah, the Humvee goes with them. The vehicles go with them. They've got a Humvee and then like a dune buggy. So there's one guy on top of the dune buggy with a gun. Nice. The other guy riding the dune buggy, and then there's 4 or 5 people in the Humvee.
So it's a little bit of Road Warrior or Rat Patrol or something.
Kind of. Their vehicles get destroyed pretty much immediately. Okay. So they're on foot pretty much right away. Okay. So they get transferred to this dimension.
Like a 50 caliber while they're walking?
No, they've all got their M16s though.
Yeah. They all got their M16s.
They've all got their M16s, and one of them's got an MP30 or something. One of those littler like machine guns. Yeah, one of the faster shooting ones. And yeah, it's like they get picked off just hilariously quick. And then eventually she's just by herself. Spoilers, sorry. And then she finds Tony Jaa's character, just called the Hunter, because he never speaks one word of English the whole movie. Can
he speak?
Yeah, he can. Okay. Yes, he can. He can. That's the weirdest part. And all the people in the other dimension speak English. So anyway.
So it's not really another dimension.
This is probably not. But this is a very weird movie. But most of the movie is Mila and Tony Jaa not speaking to each other, trying to help each other out, but every once in a while just getting into fist fights because they can't
with each
give
other?
up. Yeah, with each other. Oh, totally. They're beating out the crap out of each other. At first, Tony captures Mila and ties her up. And Mila's like, okay, fine, whatever. And then Mila gets out and captures Tony and ties him up. And and then Mila saves Tony's life. Like, Tony's tied up and he's like slipping down a cliff or something like that. And she pulls him up and he's like, oh, okay. Or maybe it was the other way around. So then I can't remember. But they eventually like each other. They're buddies and they fight together. And then it gets really weird.
That's already really goofy.
Right.
That is already a very goofy movie.
I'm talking about ships that sail over sand and stuff like that. So
yeah, but I mean, she's from her. She got her break in the '70s show. So I mean, you're talking about, isn't that Mila
No, Mila Kunis.
Oh, okay.
Mila Kunis plays Jackie.
Mila
Jovovich
is
somebody else.
Okay.
Right. And she. So then Ron Perlman shows up. He's like the captain of this ship, and Tony's part of this group. So eventually Tony and Mila make it to the ship where Ron is. Ron, the Pearled Man, and he is sun-beaten, weather-blown, curly, weird, messed up gray hair. He might have a beard. I don't know. It gets covered up with something or something like that. So they and then they just figure out like I don't even remember exactly because it's so weird, it's so bizarre. But they eventually try to get to like where the monsters are being housed. Like it's like a monsters, yeah,
it's not
multiple.
just
So yeah, they eventually get to the ship, and then Ron brings them to the cliffs where they need to fight the monsters at the end to destroy the tower so that the link between the two dimensions is broken so that none of the big crazy monsters go to Earth. But I mean, it happens anyway, of course. So
So then what happens after?
I mean,
Monster Hunter 2.
Monster Hunter 2.
That's the end of the movie. Oh
Given the 45% on Rotten Tomatoes and the 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb, I'm not really thinking that they're going to make another one. But as far as like bad schlocky action, it's number one. It's
Remember
incredible.
that movie that you watched?
So it might
what was
be
that
campy.
movie that you watched?
It's super campy. It's like kind
Remember
of
that movie
unbelievable how goofy and campy this movie is.
Do you remember that movie that you watched like a couple episodes ago where it was like really like just not good, but the action was like really like top tier goofy action?
It was the Chris Hemsworth one. It was like a Netflix original, but you said like the.
Oh yeah.
What was it called? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah, the extermination or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that might or exterminator.
It's just like there's just like we're gonna give you what you want,
Exactly.
and the stuff that you don't know you kind of missed before. It's not going to be there because
The stuff that you
didn't
really
want it.
want
You
in a good
didn't say
movie.
that in the first place. So how are we going to know if you want it now? Until after you watch it and you realize that stuff's important.
Things like character development and stuff.
Yes, and plot and actual like dialogue.
Believable.
Exposition.
There's
Well, you think
probably
about
like
it.
there's
You think
probably
about,
like
a budget. Think about budget now.
Yeah.
The more characters you cast that don't say a word, you save on writers. Do we tap out Monster Hunter?
So
Are we giving it a
yeah,
1
I
or
mean
0?
good question.
Or you can get it. You can give a half. You can give a half, or sometimes.
No,
So-
one. Yeah. Yep, I'm going to suggest it. You really need to know what you're getting into before you get
Is it
into
like
it.
if you're like
But
is it like
if
getting
you-
into Sharknado?
I mean, I actually haven't seen Sharknado before.
But Sharknado is like kind of like the
But
same
no, but
thing.
like they spent so much money on the production.
Oh, no.
There's like the monsters in this movie look incredible. And like
Okay.
the special effects are awesome.
Everything
It's
else
just
falls short.
it's just the story. But they didn't have any story. It was a video game before it was
I
this
see.
movie. So like they basically just like they basically did as good as they could.
Are they going to make a movie out of Grand Theft Auto? How come I haven't?
Fast and the Furious.
Is that what that is?
Right? I mean, right?
Good one.
No, I don't know.
It seems
Grand
like-
Theft Auto again, like that doesn't have any story to it. There's no story
Well,
to that
there's
show.
like
then.
there's like Lester and stuff. With
Well,
that.
yeah, but like
I mean, you'd have to write
Maybe-
a story.
you'd have to write the story.
Yeah, and
I mean,
there's
you'd have to
GTA
write it
6 as well.
similar to the.
But I mean,
to
the whole idea
thing.
is that I imagine with the same thing with Monster Hunter is you're trying to tap into it. I mean, because you could just write a story, right? I mean, it wouldn't
Yeah.
have to be like based on this video game, but you got the kind of a
I
built-in audience,
I
right?
think they're making
so they're
the-
just tapping is what they're
Right.
trying to
Oh
tap
yeah,
into.
they're
the same way.
using the Capcom.
What they
what I was
could
thinking.
do.
Yeah. big
They're
time.
making like the story for GTA 6 right now. Like they're making GTA 6. They've been like doing it for like the past like 7
forever.
years.
Yeah.
And they could use that story for like a movie.
Yeah.
And
they
then
could.
have like the story be
They could
released on
release them
video
at the
game.
same time
Exactly.
and stuff like that.
That could actually be big brand.
That would be nice. That would be. But like, yeah, like
Be kinda
we were
smart.
talking about this before we started. Like, video game movies are not very good.
No, they're
not good.
I don't think there's a single good one. I'm just gonna be honest.
I don't think there is.
There's not like a single good one that's like
I mean, like I said, I have a special place in my heart for the Mario Brothers movie with
Yeah.
Bob Hoskins and
Yeah.
John Leguizamo because I watched that. I was into Mario before the movie came out.
Nostalgia
I
a little
remember
bit.
going to the movie when it did come out in theaters, and I remember watching it afterwards, and I'm like, this is great.
and it's like
This is
nostalgia.
awesome.
as
Mario
well.
and Luigi are right there. But
It's like
as a
nostalgia.
movie itself, yeah, is not good.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not good.
There's no good. There's no.
And
There's
like,
no good.
did they make a Street Fighter movie?
Probably. It's probably. Just
And
trying.
and Double Dragon? No, there is a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Raul Julia and Jean-Claude Van Damme
Oh, that one wasn't.
are in the Street Fighter.
I feel
movie.
like that.
Pretty sure that's Street Fighter.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm gonna say I don't think that
must
would
be
be
an
as
old
bad.
movie.
It's old. It's
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I do remember that.
90s. Like
I feel like that might be better than some of
what
the
was
other
his
ones.
name? Bison or something like that. What was the bad guy in Street Fighter?
I know a good one.
With the colonel with the red
what's
coat with the black
what's
leather and
the
stuff like that.
Destructo guy.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph. There was a movie
Okay.
there.
That's not technically a video. Like it was. It's not technically. It was kind
They
of like
sort of
made up.
invented the
It was
video
made
game
up.
for the movie.
It was based
sort of.
off like it was based off like a video game. I don't remember what it was called, but the characters they called them themselves like Fix It, Feel It, and Wreck It Ralph. And then they also have that whole other thing with like the other arcade things. Like that is
Right.
just such a small percentage of it.
Oh.
Like most of the movie is just like
Him going through other video games, kind of,
Right.
right?
it with her, yeah.
With the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's
It's
mostly
not-
about
I
her
didn't really
racing.
like that movie, but it was kind of popular.
Yeah, it was very popular.
No, it's popular.
Like I'm trying to think of other.
But it's not really like based off of a video game though.
Oh, and there was a. Did you get into Assassin's Creed?
Yeah,
There's
that
a movie about that too.
I feel like that could be good,
But
but I
that
don't think it would be good. I don't know.
the movie was very weird because in the game, you're tapping into your ancestors' memories or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're actually transporting yourself, your conscience, to the time that they were a part of,
Yeah.
into their body too.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of weird. So like
So like the movie did this too. So like
It's really
the main
complicated.
character is like half the time he's just in this white room with white clothing and like they're tapping into the like this is the mechanism that allows this to happen.
Kind of like the Matrix.
But like right, exactly. Like yeah, you're in this blank area, a blank space.
and Assassin's Creed games
And-
are really good.
And the Assassin's Creed games are really good.
Like probably like half of them are
but-
like probably pretty esteemed, and there's like probably
But
like
the-
8 Assassin's
But
Creed
the
games.
like it's so weird. Like it's such a audio visual media, video games, but like once you try to put it in a different audio visual method, like it just falls apart. There's no you. I mean, I guess
well,
maybe
the
the
games are interactive. So
Yeah, exactly.
You,
That's what I was gonna
you
say, yeah.
make the
Right.
story. So
you want to interact with it, but there's no
whereas like-
interaction after that.
Whereas like the SpongeBob movies, which are based on a TV show, the TV show there's already a plot and the
Right,
characters
right.
developed and all
You already
that.
have a developed
and you're not
character
playing
and
it,
stuff
but
like
in the
But you already
little bit of
know what they're
experience
thinking
I
about
have
and stuff
with
like
video
that, too.
games.
Just kind of like with
yeah,
like
it's
Star
kind of
Wars
just a blank,
movies
a
and
blank, a
Right.
blank universe that you play in.
yeah.
and like the Star Wars movies, like you can make TV shows in between them, right?
Right.
And after. And all
Well, the
that.
Star Wars had some pretty famous video games with about the
No, they have like
Lego
the
video
most
games.
some
Video
Lego
games.
video games and also just video games now. Like
Just
they've
the
been making,
Battlefront ones and
they're
stuff
making
like
an
that.
open world game with Ubisoft, like an
Oh, yeah.
open world Star Wars game, and then there's Battlefront 2, which is pretty popular. Then there's like they've also made like a bunch of other games that are not they like came out pretty popular, but then they died off.
Shadows of the Empire. I mean, on 64, that's where my
There it
I
is.
prefer
Star Wars
Lego
video
Star
game
Wars.
stopped and started.
I prefer Lego Star Wars.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Please
Recapping tonight,
oh, yes.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, one up.
News of the World, giving it a one up. What did
Come on, you guys can name it. You guys got it.
The Great
Oh yeah,
Expectations.
Great Pretender.
Yeah, Great Pretender. You got that was a
Not
definite
the
yeah, no,
Great
Great
Pretender.
Pretender. And then finally Monster
Hunter.
Hunter.
The Monster Hunter. Who the hell knows?
Exactly.
But
We're giving
sure.
it, giving it okay.
Sure,
Be
why
wary.
not?
Yeah,
Don't expect anything. Don't expect.
Now that I got the
even,
right Mila,
like-
I did look her up, and yes. I
yeah,
do,
right.
Sorry about the disparaging that. She
All
did
right.
not start on the 70s show.
Well, like and subscribe.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
If that's even relevant anymore, if that's even
Exactly.
happening. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you for watching.
See you next
Good
time.
night.
Bye.